What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. So, just for starters, Cy Youngs were announced last night. As expected, Paul Skeens and Tariq Skubal were your winners in their respective leagues. In the National League, Paul Skeens, another incredible year for the youngster. 10 and 10, 197 ERA in 32 starts, which is ridiculous. 216 strikeouts over 187 and two-thirds innings, .94 whip. Just was out of his world great. Unfortunately, the Pirates suck, but Skeens through 2 years. He's got a 1.96 ERA in his first 55 starts. That's absolutely crazy. And Skubal, another dominant year for him. His second straight American League, Cy Young, 31 starts, 13 and 6, 2.21 ERA, 241 strikeouts, and 195 in the third innings. He had a .89 whip, which is just ridiculous. Uh, Standout year for him. Of course, been a lot of speculation he might get traded going to last year of his contract. Detroit's having a lot of trouble agreeing to an extension with him. A lot of speculation they may trade him if they can't sign him, so they don't lose him for nothing next year. But he is your American League Cy Young once again. Let's talk NFL power rankings. This is Power Rankings Thursday. Now let's get into it. At 32, the Jets are finally out of the 32 spot in my NFL power rankings. It is now the Tennessee Titans, the only one-win team left in the league. They are 1-8, and they are 32nd ranked team. There's just nothing going on that's positive for the Tennessee Titans. They have a rookie quarterback who I don't really believe in Cam Ward. Either way, he's being left out there to die. With Calvin Ridley hurt, who's their best weapon? Is it? I don't even know. They cut Tyler Lockett a few weeks ago for I don't even know why. Not that he was lighting the world on fire, but you have nothing else there. Is it Ayamar? I don't know. Can't really run the ball. The offensive line sucks. They have maybe the worst offense in the NFL. Defensively, they're okay. Jeffrey Simmons is a good D tackle, but you traded away Jarvis Brantley, a very good slot corner in his prime, to the Jets. You traded away another one of your corners, Roger McGreary, at the deadline. Just defense is okay, but just first of all, they're exhausted because the offense can't score any points. They're not elite by any means. Coach is already fired. Mike McCoy is the interim head coach. Ownership there is abysmal. They've been circling their head coach and GM these last 2 or 3 years. Like, I changed my socks. It's just a disaster out in Tennessee, as they are right now my 32nd ranked team in the NFL. Moving along, the Jets do come in at 31 in the rankings. Just Justin Fields is so bad. There's a case he's the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. I saw a stat the other day talking about just how bad Fields has been. Justin Fields has played in 8 games this year for the Jets. 4 of them he's had less than 50 yards passing. Put that in perspective. Not that I even need to. But Zach Wilson in 33 starts only did that twice. Sam Darnold in 38 starts with the Jets only did that once. So Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold had a combined 71 starts for the New York Jets. They had 50 passing yards the last 3 times, as bad as they were with the New York Jets. Justin Fields in 8 starts has done that 4 times. He is just brutal. He is atrocious. Not a starter in this league at all. And I mean, they can run the ball with Brees Hall, but when you can't pass, their teams are going to stack the box. That's what happens with the Jets. They have injuries on the offensive line. Uh, Gary Wilson, your only legit receiver we have right now, is now hurt. He's gonna miss the next few weeks. I would just shut him down for the year at this point. Who's your best receiver? Is it Arian Smith, who's a rookie? Was not a very highly touted prospect coming out. What was he, a third or a fourth round pick, something like that? Is it? I don't even know. Is it Tyler Johnson looking to even be in the league? The receiving core is abysmal. The best receiver is honestly Mason Taylor, a second round rookie tight end who's actually played pretty well. And defensively, a couple of talented pass rushers, Will McDowell and Jermaine Johnson aren't bad, but now with no Quinn Williams, you don't have a legit run stuffer anymore. Now you have injuries in the secondary, Sauce Gardner off the team. They're just abysmal. Not super well coached by Aaron Glenn, and just a disaster with the Jets. At 30, if I have the New Orleans Saints, they actually won a game last week, which got them to 2-8 on the season. But Tyler Shuck in his first ever game actually played pretty well against Carolina. But it was not how he touted coming out. I don't see a whole lot with him. He's only played a game and a half in the NFL. And again, the roster sucks. Alvin Kamara's a good back, but he's getting older. Olave's a good receiver, but injury prone. He's had a good year, but he's the only guy that they have now with Rashid Shaheed now in Seattle. Juwan Johnson's just okay. The offensive line is terrible. Trevor Penning, he's traded away. Defensively, there's nothing there. Mel Davis is a good linebacker, but he's old. Cameron Jordan's ancient. And just there's nothing else there. They suck. Rookie head coach. Just not a lot going on in New Orleans. Doesn't help that they've been in cap hell for 20 years. 29th, I have the Cleveland Browns. That team's really bad. Another 2-win team on this list. They are at 2-7. Dylan Gabriel remains the starting quarterback. He's atrocious. I can't stand Shador. I think he's a douchebag. I do not think he's good at all. He's in flame out of the league relatively quickly. But at this point, you might as well play the kid. At this point, Dylan Gabriel's not a. The only other quarterback you have on your roster is Bailey Zappi, who obviously isn't a. You might as well play him at this point. I mean, they can run the ball with Quinshon Judkins. I've said before, Browns are a bad team. Don't get me wrong, but they'll be able to win a game here or there, hang around in some game because they can run the football. They have a decent defense, but just the receiving core there, like Jerry Jeudy had a great year last year. Has not been the same this year. The quarterback play, which was horrible last year as well, might be even worse this year. Cedric Tillman hasn't really produced. David Njoku was a good tight end, but he's been hurt. They've been starting Howard Fain, who has looked pretty good. Drafted him this year. Will probably take over next year. I believe Njoku will be a free agent. But the offensive line is an absolute train wreck, one of the worst in the league. Defensively, look, Myles Garrett's a freak. He'll probably be Defensive Player of the Year. They have pretty solid squad. Denzel Ward, the secondary, Wusu Koromo at linebacker. But again, their offense can't score any points. It's a fancy. He's a goner. You see it on his face. There was a few times in that Jet game, Browns took a bad penalty. Just the look on his face was just nothing. He wasn't not disgust, not unhappiness, not anger, just nothing. There was nothing left in that poor man. By Andrew Barry, the GM should go as well. 28-5 Las Vegas Raiders, but just another bad football team. You're at 2-7. Geno Smith, what happened to this guy? I mean, it wasn't that great in Seattle. I mean, miles better when he went with the Jets or anywhere else. He was actually a relatively decent starting quarterback. But he looks really, really bad. Amongst the league leaders in turnovers this year, he's looked really bad. Gentry's a great talent on running back, first round pick this year. He has nowhere to go. The offensive line is abysmal. Their best lineman, Jackson Powers Johnson, is probably out for the season now. Their only weapon you have is Brock Bowers, which Kobe Myers now in Jacksonville. You have nothing in that receiving core. Trey Tucker, the youngster who's just kind of okay, and not a whole lot else. Defensively, Max Crosby's great. One of the best edge rushers in football. The rest of that defense is absolutely terrible. And I'm worried about Pete Carroll. I didn't expect much from the Raiders this year. I think I had them at 6-11. They're not going to win 6 games. No chance. I don't know what their schedule looks like the rest of the year, but they got at least 3 more games against Kansas City, the Chargers, and the Broncos. Those 3 games are all clearly better than them. They get to be 10 losses. They're just a brutal football team. Undisciplined. They're hardly even competitive. And it's not what you expect out of a Pete Carroll team. Even when, in Seattle, when, guys were hurt and they weren't, didn't have the personnel on paper to really compete, for a championship. They were competitive every single week and, would hang around the playoff picture the least every single year in Seattle. And granted, he had Russell Wilson in his prime. He obviously had a much better roster than what he has with the Raiders this year, but they're not even competitive. They're undisciplined. It's a little bit worrisome. At 27, I'm the Miami Dolphins, so Miami's put together a couple wins. At the fire GM. He beat the Bills last week, shockingly, in pretty convincing fashion. You're now 3-7. You're not good. I mean, the defense is terrible. Obviously, your best pass rusher now plays for the Eagles and Julian Phillips. But Tua is what he is. The offensive line is just eh. Devon Achane's great. Jalen Waddle is very good. Other than that, Tyreek Hill's hurt. Not a whole lot to cheer for. GM's already fired. We hope for their sake that the coach, McDaniel, was on his way out as well. I don't know why he's even still there. But they're at 3-7. At 26, I have the New York Giants. They are at also really bad. They are at 2-8 on the year. This far, Daboll, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka is the interim coach. Shane Steichen GM for now. First, they said he was going to lead the search. Apparently now the coach will decide if Shane stays or not, which is kind of a dumb way of doing things. Certain teams do it. I think it's stupid and never ends well. But that's what the Giants are doing. John Mara is just an abysmal owner. Shane Bone, the defensive coordinator, is still there. No idea why. Um, Dart's not playing this week. It's gonna be Jameis Winston, which is the right move. Russell Wilson has nothing left. At least if when they lose to the Packers 31-16, it'll be fun. They'll get some funny Jameis quotes or some something so bad that they're funny. Cam Scatterbell's hurt. So obviously, Tracy's their top back. Obviously, like Neighbors hurt, so they don't have much of a receiving core. Offensive line isn't very good. This defense has underperformed all year. Brian Burns has been great. Abdul Carter, he's been pretty good. Only like he doesn't have a ton of sacks. It was like a sack the whole season, but he's been relatively productive. Dexter Lawrence, what happened to this guy? Year or two ago, he had a case to be the best player at his position in the league. Got that huge bag, and he's just not producing this year. Kyle Banks, Giants legend, called him out on a podcast. Lawrence fired back. Lawrence has looked just very frustrated with the media for a couple of years now. And just the secondary is awful. Their defense is awful. Shouldn't be this bad considering how much money they spent on it. It's just a bad football team. At 25, I have the Houston Texans. They just can't score. Stroud showing flashes at the play was his rookie year, but still not all there, not consistent enough. I don't really blame him, to be honest. I don't know why they made the offensive coordinator change. I heard maybe he may butt heads with Slowick, but who knows? Now I think it's Nick Caley. The offensive line is abysmal. They cannot run the ball with Joe Mixon hurt. Their top backs are Nick Chubb, who's absolutely washed, and Woody Parks, who I never heard of till about week 5 of the season. Tank Dow, who's his close friend, second best receiver on the team, is obviously injured for the season. Nico Collins is great, but other than him, a tight end Dalton Schultz, not a lot of weapons there. Defense is good. I like D'Amico Ryan, but the offense is just so bad. They've been a major disappointment this year. They are just 3 wins all season. They're just excuse me, they're at 4-5. Obviously, you snuck past the Jaguars last week. You come back, but I'm putting on a stack and say I don't think Jacksonville's very good either. I think they're worse than what their record shows. But moving along, the Arizona Cardinals at 24th. No, they're a mess. Kyler, they're obviously done with. They're starting Jacoby Brissett the rest of the year. They can't run the ball. A lot of injuries. James Conner is on the shelf. Trey Benson is still on the shelf. Your top backs are Bam Knight and Mind DeMarcado, basically 2 practice squad running backs. Your best receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., is hurt. Not going to play this week. Might miss extended time. You have nobody to throw besides your tight end, Trey McBride. But defense is just okay. I don't even know what Jonathan Gannon is. They're just a mess. At 20, they're the Washington Commanders. They've been depleted by injuries this year. Really a shame. Jane Daniels is hurt. Terry McLaurin is hurt. They have injuries on the offensive line. A lot of injuries on defense. They're just the roster's depleted. It's going to be Marcus Mariota hanging off to a 6th-round rookie throwing to Wash Debo Samuel and God knows who. Luke McCaffrey for it. They're cooked 3-7. 22nd is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're 3-6 this year. Obviously, Joe Burrow's been hurt with that foot injury. Joe Flacco, since you brought him in, has played well. Chase Brown's coming along. We know what Jamar Chase is. We know what T. Higgins is, but just their offensive line is horrible. They have the worst defense in football. It is a absolute train wreck. Zach Taylor is not a good coach. His game management is utterly terrible. They're sitting at 3-6, and they're staring on their disappointing year right in the face. 21st is the Atlanta Falcons. They're going to fire Raheem Morris. I know Michael Penix has been a little bit inconsistent his first full year as a starter, but Bijan's a dog. Drake London's a dog. Even Kyle Pitts has been pretty good this year. You have Darnell Mooney. You have a pretty good offensive line. The defense shouldn't be this bad. No, you invested a lot of money in draft capital into it. You drafted Jalen Walker and James Pierce in the 1st round this year. You have AJ Terrell there at corner. They should not be this bad. He's a brutal head coach. They're 3-6. They suck. At 25, the Dallas Cowboys. Look, talented offense. Dak is overrated, but a decent quarterback. Devontae Williams had the best year of his career. CeeDee Lamb's rep. George Pickens is out of career. Jake Ferguson's been great. The offensive line's had some injuries, but they've held together thus far. The defense is so bad. We'll see if Quinn Williams makes a difference, but still must put their pass rush to be a whole lot better. The secondary still sucks. They're at 20th right now. I don't see them going really anywhere this year. So they're like 3-5-1. They're 3-5-1 the year. I don't expect them to do a whole lot. At 19, I have the Carolina Panthers. Carolina's weird. They have some signature wins. Atlanta isn't a good team, but a team going in was better than you going in. You shut them out 30-0. You beat the Packers on the road at Lambeau, but then you've also had some just brutal losses. You losing to the Saints 17-7 last week. Um, so like they are better defensively, especially in the secondary, but that run defense is still shaky. It's very inconsistent. And Bryce Young, I'm sorry, he's not the guy. I tried saying when he got drafted, I tried saying it last year. He's not the guy. He's just not. He's not an NFL starter. Not this level. He just isn't. They can run the ball. Rico Dowdle's had a career year. I get their only real weapon is Ted McMillan, but they shouldn't be, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. They're 5-5. I feel like they're so bad, but they're not. They're not as bad as, they look. They're at 5-5. They're actually only a game out of their division, but they're so inconsistent. They don't have the passing offense to compete, and win tough football games week in and week out. 18 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was never sold on this team, even when they were 4-1. They've struggled since. Trevor Lawrence, we gotta have a conversation about that guy. He's just not it. Too inconsistent. Turnovers are still there. This is year 5 for him. That $270 million contract's going to age very poorly. Trevor Etienne got off to a great start this year. He's kind of fizzled out since. Travis Hunter's out for the year. Brian Thomas has taken a step back this year. But defense isn't very good. I don't believe in Liam Cohen. They're at 5-4. 70 is the Minnesota Vikings. They've obviously had a lot of injuries at the quarterback position this year. Christian McCaffrey missed 6 weeks. Came back right when Carson Wentz got hurt. He's looked really rough overall through 4 games. Obviously still really young, basically a rookie. It's a little concerning because of how good that offense is with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Aaron Jones. The defense is very good as well, especially up front. Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator. I like Kevin O'Connell as a head coach, great offensive mind, but the offensive line is terrible. Going in, they made some additions. You signed Ryan Kelly, you signed Will Fried, you draft Donovan Jackson. Look like they true up the interior of the offensive line, not so fast as the great Lee Corso would say. It's not fixed. It's utterly terrible. They're at 4-5 on the year. They're not a bad team. They're just overmatched in that division. Green Bay, they've lost some tough games, but on paper they're a great team. They're still 5-3-1. The Lions are a great team. Even the Bears were good this year, so they're just overmatched in that division. 16th is the Chicago Bears. Speaking of a devil, still don't have any confidence in Caleb Williams, but they can run the football. The Smith is very good. They got some great weapons. Roman Dunde's taking a big step forward this year. Even with DJ Moore looking like he's on his way down, 2 good young tight ends with Kmet and Loveland, when they actually use them. Offensive line is much better. That defense is really bad. They've taken a major step back, had some injuries, including Jalen Johnson, one of the league's best corners, but they're somehow 6-3. That's to Ben Johnson, who looks like might be a real head coach in this league. At 15th is the Baltimore Ravens. 1-3 in a row. You're getting healthier. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is back. He's blowing. Derrick Henry's been Derrick Henry. Zay Flowers is a great receiver. Mark Andrews has been good. Defensively, you've been playing a lot better. You were really bad for most of the year. You've been a lot better recently. We're at 4-5. I think they're going to win that division. The Bengals, obviously, don't have Joe Burrow. Obviously, are so bad defensively. Cleveland is Cleveland, and Pittsburgh, we know what's going to happen with the Steelers. We know what's going to happen. Speaking of the Steelers, they come in at 14th. I was gonna put them a lot lower, but I was like, they're 5-4. They have a better record than the Ravens. They're first in the division right now. Not for long, but I put them at 14. Aaron Rodgers actually played pretty well. Last week he looked horrific. He's not even close to the same player he was a few years ago, but still a decent-ish starter. They can't run the ball. DK Metcalf is really their only weapon. The tight ends, Fireman's just okay. Jonas Smith's just okay. That defense is so overrated. TJ Watt's great, but other than that, Alex Highsmith's pretty good. There's really not a whole lot else there. Their most expensive defensive league, and they're a below average unit. Just yikes. Kudos. I'm not even gonna mention Mike Tomlin. You guys already know what the deal is with him. 13th is the 49ers. I mean, look, they're playing through a lot of injuries right now. They're at 6-4 on the season. Mac Jones has played pretty well and posted Brock Purdy, though I heard Purdy might be coming back this week. McCaffrey's been McCaffrey. A ton of injuries. Ayuk hasn't played all year. Kale missed a bunch of time, but thankfully he's back. Juwan Jennings missed time. You have a lot of guys out on defense. Thankfully, looks like Ricky Pearson might be, he's coming back. I mentioned Purdy. Problem is, it's really hard to stop guys when your top pass rusher, Nick Bosa, is out for the year, and your captain of that defense in the middle, Fred Warner, maybe the best inside linebacker in football, he's out for the year. Secondary was already shaky. Akusa Shanahan keeping these guys together. You're at 6-4. You're playing overall pretty well considering all the injuries, and they come after 13th on this list. But Chargers are at 12. Justin Herbert's had a great season. I do think he's a great quarterback. I know he has not performed super well in the playoffs. He hasn't had a playoff one yet, but just the offensive line is so bad over there. Obviously, you're on your third back with Najee Harris and Omeyer and Hampton on the shelf. Hampton should come back at some point. And look, Quentin Johnston's taking a big step forward. The guy who a couple years ago we were able to throw out the window was a human drop machine. Jim Harbaugh has fixed him. He's had a career year. Ladd McConkey is a dog. Defensively, got some guys out, but overall, you're still a good unit. Jesse Minter is a great defensive coordinator. He probably becomes a head coach next season. And you're 7-3. So kudos to them. Again, kudos to Justin Herbert and kudos to Jim Harbaugh. Another guy. But all the injuries, he's been able to overcome it for the most part. He has them at 7-3 and right there in the playoff picture in the AFC. At 11, I have the Denver Broncos. Might seem a little low for an 8-2 team that technically is tied for the best record in the NFL, but they're so fraudulent. They barely beat the Raiders. You barely beat the Jets. You barely even beat the Titans. Outside of the Philadelphia, nothing's looked really impressive this year at all. Bo Nix has been very inconsistent. He's not as good as he was last year. Overall, they ran the ball well with Dobbins and OJ Harvey, but when that run game's been even a slight bit off, their offense looks atrocious. Courtland Sutton's their only weapon. They are elite defensively, but we'll see what happens now that Pat Surtain is hurt. The best corner in the league is going to miss the next few games. Didn't play last week. They got by. Obviously, they played the Raiders, who suck. But we'll see what happens the rest of the year. But they're a team. They'll win 12-13 games. Might even win their division. But I'm not counting out the Chiefs just yet. But I don't believe in them in the slightest. Top 10 at 10, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of injuries have caused them to struggle a bit last bunch of games. But Baker Mayfield's had a great season this year. Even with Bucky Irving out, Rachaad White's been decent. Mike Evans missed a lot of time. Chris Godwin's missed a lot of time. Even Ibuka was out for a bit. Ibuka has been great this year. I think he'll be off at the Rookie of the Year. Either him or Jackson Dart. Obviously, Scavell was a hat trick, but he's out for the year. He's healthy. Other than that, most of your weapons are hurt. You have injuries on the offensive line, injuries on defense, but and you know me, I don't think Todd Bowles is a good head coach. He's a little bit better than was in New York, but still, I don't think he's a great head coach. But look, you're 6-3. You're in first place. I do think you win that division. I don't believe in Carolina. We know how bad the Saints are. They're in the rest of that division. So, but they are at 6-3, and I think they'll always win their division. At 9th, I have New England Patriots. Look, they're playing really well. They're 8-2. They'd be the 3 seed in the AFC, top for the best record in football. Drake May's had a great year. Proving he's a franchise quarterback. Stephon Diggs has had a really good year. The offensive line, night and day from last year. Drafting Will Campbell was such a great draft pick. 4th overall. The defense has played well. They have a good pass rush. They're the best run defense in the NFL. Secondary's been a little shaky at time. Of course, Gonzalez has been in that lineup, but when they're on, they're good. But they can be a little shaky. Also, the running game throughout the year has not been good. Travion Henderson finally had a breakthrough game last week. No Ramondre Stevenson again this week, so hopefully he gets a big workload. For the Patriots, he obviously has a weak defense against the Jets tonight. They're playing really well, and they come in at 9 on this list. Schedule's been relatively easy, but you did beat the Bills, and you beat Tampa last week, too. So, number 8 is the Seattle Seahawks. This is a really good team. Very good football team. I've been very impressed by them. So that's 7-2. Game against the Rams is going to be really good this coming week on Sunday. Sam Darnold is playing really well. I think it's even better than he was last year. You get the stats may not show it. They have a solid running game. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. They're kind of running the hot hand between those two, but together they've put together solid performances pretty much every single week. JSN, Jackson Smith, and Najigba right now is the best receiver in the entire NFL. Over 1,000 yards in only 9 games. The guy is ridiculous. Now you bring in Shaheed. The offensive line is pretty good. That defense is very underrated. A lot of young talent over there, especially in that secondary with Witherspoon and Woolen. That's a very good defense. Mike McDonald's done a really good job since taking over as head coach last year. The Seattle Seahawks coming at number 8 on this list. At 7, I have the Los Angeles Rams. Speaking of the Rams, Matthew Stafford might win MVP this year. 25 touchdowns against 2 picks. We'll love for 2,000 passing yards this year. 37, still doing it. Stafford might be a Hall of Famer, honestly. He's rolling. Kyrie Williams is a great running back. Explosive. Some fumbling injuries, but very explosive. Overall, very good. Puka Nacua is a stud. Devontae Adams is still really good. That might be the best receiver duo in the NFC. Offensive line is good. They've been solid defensively all year. They haven't had to do a whole lot. They score so many points. Rams were one of the best offenses in the league. Sean McVay is a wizard. We all know that. They come in at 7 on my list. At 6, I have the Indianapolis Colts. I dropped them a smidge these last couple of weeks, and you lose to Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago. You had a bye last week. But the wins overall, he's played well. The only 2 games they lost was because he had a lot of turnovers, which has been the problem for him his whole career. But the other 8 games, he's played really well. And Jonathan Taylor is my MVP right now. He is just insane. He might break like a bunch of rushing records this year. Some solid receivers. Pittman's pretty good. Alec Pierce has had a career year. Josh Downs had a career year. Tyler Warren's really good. That was such a great first round pick. One of the best offensive lines in the league. Solid defense. Obviously, you brought in Sauce Gardner, who did get lit up on that touchdown last week, but or on the goal line, but he's an all-pro corner for a reason. You bring him in. Obviously, give the draft capital to get him. They're going all in. You're at 8-2. You're going to win your division. Are they a true contender? That remains to be seen. If nothing else, you'll win your division. And 5 of the Green Bay Packers. A lot of parity this year, so pretty much every team is flawed. Packers, I don't know what to think about them. You've now lost 3 games at Lambeau, 2 to very bad teams in Cleveland and Carolina. Obviously, this past week to Philly. Your offense looks all out of whack. Jordan Love has got to stop with the turnovers. He has not been good enough. Josh Jacobs not as good as he was last year. Ton of injuries with the receiving core. Jaden Reed's on IR. If Golden didn't play last week, Tucker Kraft is out for the year now. That defense is elite, top 5 in football, but the offense is just so out of whack. And if they're not careful, Matt LaFleur might get fired. Got a new president coming in. It's a team that, ever since he lost in the NFC Championship, what was it, 21 or 22? If it's the one playoff win, they've had spent a lot of money on this roster, a lot of talent around that roster, and at 5-3-1, they're a good team, but these inside they'll be the 2. Let's see, 3. They would, I think they'd be in the playoffs, but barely. They have worse record than the Bears right now. They gotta be careful. Don't let them slip out of the playoff field. At 4 of the Detroit Lions, I've had the Packers have the Lions all year because the Packers beat them in convincing fashion in week 1. But that was week 1. They're both different football teams. Dan Campbell took the play calling duties back from John Morton, and it worked last week, obviously. Jared Goff has still played well. Gibbs is a stud. On Raw. J-Mo is obviously a great deep threat. Laporta's a good tight end. Defensively, they've been pretty solid. Some injuries in the secondary, which they always seem to have. But they're a good team. Have them at 4 right now. They're 6-3 right now. They're still rolling. Right now, they are in first place in the NFC North. A lot of people take a step back. It hasn't been too much of a fall off so far. At 3, I have the Buffalo Bills. I know it seems ridiculously high. I'm not even in first place. But you're at 6-3. I just think having Josh Allen gives you such an advantage in the playoffs. And James Cook is running his ass off. Their receiving core needs work. Khalil Shakir is pretty good. Coleman isn't bad, but he's somebody else. Now Kincaid, the tight end, is hurt. And my defense has just kind of been okay, but Josh Allen's just been so great. Outside of a game or 2 here or there. He wasn't great against Atlanta. Wasn't great this past week. Obviously against Miami, but no one was good. I still believe in the Bills. I mean, they not win a championship because I'm sure they'll run into the Chiefs again. But I still believe in them. At 2 as the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they're 5-4. If the season ends, they did not be in the playoffs. I still believe in the Chiefs. They have Pat Mahomes. Overall, he's been great this year. Rasheed Rice's been great since coming back. You have Xavier Ward, who's been very good. Kelsey's not the same player, but he's still a good player. The offensive line is a little bit concerning, and that running game is awful. Pacheco's looked really bad. But they have the good defense still. And they're still the Chiefs. Even though the three games out of their division, I think they're still going to come back and win that division. And I don't have much. If they're in the Super Bowl, I would not be surprised. As much as I hate saying that, I still believe the Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately. And number one right now is the Philadelphia Eagles, so the defending champs. They're at 7-2. Look, that passing offense is all out of whack. Hurts and AJ Brown are not on the same page. AJ Brown, I've never seen a guy be in such a good position in life and be so unhappy with AJ Brown. You cannot please that guy. They won a Super Bowl last year. I'm surprised he wasn't sad when they won a Super Bowl. He wins a Super Bowl, has one game where he doesn't have a lot of targets, and the guy's pissed off. They beat one of the top teams in the football at Lambeau Field in the Green Bay Packers, one of the toughest places to play in all sports. And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." You said like, "Oh, if you have me in fantasy, get rid of me." Like, is that guy ever happy? Anyway, I mean, they have Saquon. The production's been a little bit down this year. I already think it's on him. I just think that offense is so out of whack. And Sirianni, he's really not a great coach. He's just blessed with a great team. I can't believe he on 4th and 6, in the middle of the field, up by a field goal of 30 seconds left, he actually ran a play and threw an incomplete pass. What was he thinking last week? He got very lucky that the Packers passing offense was so bad on Monday Night Football. Very lucky. Granted, I think they fixed their defense, going out and getting Michael Carter from the Jets, going out and addressing the secondary, going out and I know he originally got Jair Alexander, who just stepped away from football, got some stuff he's dealing with, I guess, but also picking up Julian Phillips, that is definitely going to help their pass rush. Still a very good defense, still the defending champ. The Philadelphia Eagles right now are the best team in the NFL. All right, to finish this thing off, I'm going to recap NXT from 2 days ago. Came out to start with the culling, of course, led by the new NXT Women's Champion from a couple of weeks ago, Tatum Paxley. Was accompanied by her group, Izzy Dane, of course, her best friend, and then the two other dudes. It's so weird seeing Ty Dillinger back in NXT. I remember when he was on the main roster. Hopefully the next big thing. It didn't happen. He goes to AEW as Sean Spears, then leaves, comes back. It's it's so bizarre. But obviously Tatum's been in Izzy Dane's mind, has been a little bit overzealous with who she's giving opportunities to. She's been trying to talk her out of it. But Tatum, she admitted that, then said, "You know what, JC, I will give you a rematch at Gold Rush next week." So that should be very exciting. I wonder, is there a chance that maybe Izzy turns on JC Jane? I mean, not JC Jane, on Tatum. That's going to be interesting to watch. I can see that happening. I can honestly see her winning and then Izzy Dane turning on her. Maybe she calls her, or maybe they won't pull the trigger, which is probably the most likely scenario. But we'll see what happens. Jasper Troy defeats El Grande Americano to win the Speed Championship. Overcame El Grande's, I guess, shenanigans. His two little other El Grandes, I guess, they got thrown out at ringside. Tried to slip the plate into his mask. Didn't work. Jasper Troy's was Speed Championship. I don't know what to think about this El Grande thing. I think the character is so utterly stupid. However, it's actually gotten over. I mean, Lubbock Kaiser has done a great job of it. Since he became El Grande Americano and he decided, oh yeah, Chad Gable, you're no longer El Grande now. Look, he ends up getting injured, obviously. Now he's got these two other El Grandes. I don't even know who they are. At first I was thinking it's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Now I'm not sure. But he's done a great job, and the character's gotten pretty over. He's basically a babyface at this point. But it's kind of a stupid character. I do like Jasper Troy a lot, though. He's really, really good. And then you had second with the new Women's U.S. Champion Chelsea Green, actually North American Champion Ethan Page, who are very, very good together. Of course, they got a mixed tag match coming up against Thea Hale and Joe Hendry. Thea Hale beat Alba Fire in a match. That was an exciting match. Then we had Javon Evans cutting a promo. Then Dark State came out. Thankfully, Leon Slater from TNA came out. They've been obviously helping each other out lately, defend them off. Then we had Fallon Henley defeats Skylar Ray in a speed match. The winner will face Zarya for the speed championship next week. But if Sol Ruka's been clear, we'll see what happens. I wonder. I really think they're teasing towards Sol Ruka and are going to break up. Yeah, I think we'll have Sol Ruka on the main roster sooner rather than later. They're both very, very good. We had Tavion Heights defeated Josh Briggs in the match. And then the main event, uh, Ricky Saints defends his NXT Championship, beating Trick Williams in the last man in standing match. It's a hellacious match, incredible match, great ending. Another nice week of NXT. My opinion, the best wrestling show on television right now. There's, the feuds are fluid, solid storytelling, which, maybe isn't elite, but it's the developmental brand, and it's a lot better than what Triple H and the main roster's doing lately. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. Till next time, so long. Have a great day.